Hi guys, here from Tbilisi talking about language policy. It's very important here that in Georgia we speak English and of course Georgian, there's no doubt. Whenever that language is really very complicated for me and I cannot understand it and even not say many words, but what I want to make very clear is that the international conversation language of Georgia must be English. The same, by the way, in Austria and in whole Europe. We have more or less settled that maybe the French have some fantasy, but there will be no French as an international transaction and commercial language. Let's be very clear here, Mr. Macron, and there will be no Russian in that one. It's English, and that is very clear. Some Austrian English, some kind of confused language, like I speak it, or some Franglais, but no French, and no Spanish, and no Russian. And especially it must be a political leadership effort here from the political elite of Georgia to explain it, that you speak to foreigners not in Russian, because there is no idea that what happens still here today, and it was the same when I started my activities in Ukraine in 2016, and it is very wrong. When you see a foreigner, you speak in English. When you have an international contact, you speak in English. Russian can be for some kind of ancient Soviet elite still some kind of hobby and some necessity, I from time to time also speak Russian here a little bit. I don't know it very well, but I always call it then Ukrainian, my Slavic language, because we don't use the word of a war criminal as international transfer language. That doesn't hinder, the rights for the Russian speakers. They can speak their own language, obviously everybody can do. Everybody should, in a free Europe, speak the language they want to communicate. But it's a political question. What language is used as a secondary international trade and commercial and cultural exchange language between people who don't know each other? And that must be English and not Russian. So there must be a political, state-organized effort to explain this to the population and make abundantly clear to everybody in Georgia that it's not a question, it's a question of impoliteness, and it's simply wrong to offer Russian to a foreigner, because we are not the occupying power of the past. And why should I speak Russian? Just because I look European? I want to be addressed in English. I want to speak in English. Everybody in a touristic country can be expected to have some basic understanding of English. Yes, how do you do? How is everything? How is your country? Where are you from? Hello? Do you want to eat? Do you want to drink? That's it. It's very simple. And politics and everybody else. I also was extremely critical of the Lithuanians and the Slovakians and the Bulgarians in Ukraine who were using then Russian as a conversational language because they were so good in university to learn it, or they were occupied so nicely by the Soviet Union that they had to learn it. And then they use their broken Russian in order to communicate with the Ukrainians in the language of the occupiers. So wrong. So wrong was it before, and so wrong it is today. This is the wrong approach. As an international personality, it doesn't matter in which cultural activity, political, economic activity you are, you speak English. English, if you're not very, nobody speaks it very well. In a way it's neutral, but it's important. Even if you have learned fantastic Russian at the university because you are such a smart super ass, okay, then speak it to the Russians, but not to anybody else. Because the acceptance of Russian as an international transfer and communication and trade language is by its nature a sign of submission to a culture which is now unfortunately occupied by a war criminal and was actually since 2014 and 2008. And never forget also before, the Soviet Union was an evil empire. And Dragan was absolutely abundantly clear in that. So here, to make it also very much clear, and absolutely, you don't have to speak English very good, it's all fine, but we will also not use French, just to make that very clear. There is this fantasy by some in Paris that they will speak now this beautiful French in Brussels, and Mrs. Ursula von der Leyen, always submissive to Macron and his failed policy, is then speaking always en français, and Michel, who Macron imposed on all of us, incompetent Michel, then starts his things in French as well. Who wants to learn French? I had to do it. I know that language. Do I use it as an international transfer and communication language? No, because nobody else understands that. And also I don't speak it anymore so well. But you know, why to have it? In order to piss off the French and the Americans and the British and make something European, when the Germans, the Italians, the Greeks don't speak it, and nobody in Eastern Europe does, almost nobody. I mean, the respect for language, that's what Europe is about. Everybody should speak his own language. But the imposition of French on all of us, or especially worse, of the imperial, colonial, disaster language of Russian, not every Russian, every language is good. They should speak it in Russia. It's fine. But language is also power. Language is also cultural influences. Language is also control. Because the ones speaking it best will always be the ones dominating the meeting and somehow smiling about the others. Yes. And in a way, because we have this European language, nobody can speak it very well. The British and American might laugh about it, but at least in America they do not. They always say, thanks that you learned our language. And it's the global communication language anyhow. So it is absolutely vital that it is no longer allowed, it must be forbidden by international community institutions and representatives to use Russian anywhere else but Russia. Yes, anywhere else. When I see and I hear a European representative speaking or using Russian language outside of Russia, you know, they can do it in Russia, because my best knowledge it's only official language in Russia. And anywhere else it should be forbidden. Yes, absolutely forbidden. And we cannot allow that anymore. And civil servants who do that, who think they are cool, doing some Russian in Central Asia or in Ukraine or in Georgia, they should be reprimanded and punished for doing that as a sign of clarity, because they probably anyhow have links to Russia and are serving Putin and their handlers. So this is very important. I want to be very clear in that one, towards the Georgians, but also towards the European officials who continue the use of that beautiful language, beautiful for the Russians, but no, not for anybody else. I think I'm clear. Thanks a lot. Please use English everywhere. Bye.